Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this episode are those of the hosts and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Black Cat Crossing Podcast. The information provided in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. All rights reserved.
Hey paranormal fans, welcome back to another episode of Black Cat Crossing with Sully, Z, and I'm Barry. Today we've got a mysterious disappearance for you, the case of Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall, also known as the Springfield Three. Grab yourself a snack, a comfy spot, and let's dive in.
In the early morning of June 7th, 1992, the disappearance of Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall took place at Levitt's residence in Springfield, Missouri. The incident occurred sometime between 2:15 a.m. and 7:30 a.m. Suzie and Stacy had gone to spend the night at Levitt's home after they had spent the day and night at graduation parties. Since then, there has been no contact or sighting of the three women. Suzie Streeter, aged 19, and Stacy McCall, aged 18, had recently graduated from Kickapoo High School in Springfield, Missouri on June 6, 1992. Their original plan...
Hold on. Can I just laugh at the Kickapoo? I was like, why? I was trying so hard not to say anything. I'm like, I have to say something. Sorry. Okay, keep going.
Their original plan was to partake in multiple graduation celebrations that night and then stay overnight at a hotel in Branson. The following morning, they intended to visit a water park with their friends and fellow graduates. However, at around 10:30 p.m., the girls decided they were too tired to drive to the hotel and decided to postpone their trip to Branson until the next morning. They arranged to stay at their friend Janelle Kirby's house instead. McCall called her mother, Janice, to inform her about the change in plans and to check in with her. Little did Janice know that this would be the last conversation she would ever have with her daughter. Following their attendance at another gathering hosted by one of Janelle's neighbors, Streeter and McCall found themselves unable to stay at Janelle's house due to the presence of visiting family members. In search of a place to spend the night, the two teenagers returned to Streeter's house, where she resided with her mother, Sherrill Levitt, aged 47, at 1717 East Delmer Street. Levitt, a single mother who worked as a cosmetologist at New Attitudes Hair Salon, had recently moved into the house with her daughter in April of the same year. Levitt also had another child, Bart, with whom she had a strained relationship. Before leaving, Streeter and McCall assured Janelle that they would meet her at the water park the next morning. However, when the girls failed to appear as planned and phone calls went unanswered, Janelle became increasingly concerned. Accompanied by her boyfriend, Mike, Janelle went to the East Delmer Street residence, where they immediately noticed something was off. When they walked onto the porch, they saw that the porch light casing was broken and glass was laying all over the porch. Mike cleaned the glass up for them, as at first the two did not find this to be alarming. Also in the drive, the cars of all three women were present. However, Streeter's car, which she parked in the same location every day, was in a different spot. Janelle and Mike discovered that the door was unlocked, but there was no one inside. They assumed that they had simply missed them and thought that Streeter and McCall had already left for the water park. Right as they were about to leave, though, the phone rang. Janelle answered it and heard an unfamiliar male voice speaking inappropriately. She hung up as Streeter had been receiving prank calls lately, so Janelle was not particularly disturbed by this. Janelle and Mike then departed.
Okay, hold on. Wait, I have a lot of questions here, okay? First off, why would you clean, like, the glass on the porch and then just notice that the door's unlocked? Like, wouldn't...
I'll be alarmed by that. I mean, I can kind of see initially, like, coming up and being like, oh man, like somebody broke the glass, like let me clean this up for them, like not thinking anything was actually wrong. But I can forgive the cleaning up of the glass on the porch.
I don't know, because like
there's a lot of stuff afterwards that I'm like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, like, well,
yeah.
It's just like, but like, you don't need two people cleaning up the glass, right?
Well, I think only he cleaned up the glass. She probably just...
And then yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I'm just picturing him, like, bending over, picking up glass, and she's just, like, standing there just watching, and then, like, he's like, oh, let me just try the door, and she's just, like, standing there staring at him. I don't know why, but that's what I'm picturing. And then
For me, I think what was strange is that the door was open and the door's unlocked. Rather, there's nobody home. The cars are in the designated parking spots, and that doesn't ring alarm bells. Like, there's nobody there. The cars are there. The door is unlocked.
Right?
Like,
Right.
that's okay. That's okay. And then
Right. And then the prank call.
answering the
You're
phone.
right.
My phone is ringing, and you're just gonna just answer my
Yeah,
phone.
like, why are you answering somebody else's phone?
But then the fact that they thought, like, oh, they're just they already left for the water park. But
Even-
all of the cars are there.
Yes.
Why do you, how do you think they got there? Did they walk?
Right? Yeah, it's a little weird. Very weird. But also, like, I don't know if you, like, they walked right into the house.
Rationally.
Right.
Like, you walked right into the house and you're like, oh, they're gone. Oh, their phone is ringing. Wouldn't you call the cops? Be like,
Also, it was also 1992. Like, things were different in the 90s.
they had a lot of trust, back in the day. I have a lot of trust issues.
Maybe the neighborhood was fairly safe because here, for the most part, you can. Well, I wouldn't do that here in this neighborhood, but like my mom growing up, we kept our doors open, like the kitchen, the balcony, the front door, like all the doors would be open just to let air in and out of the house. And we might be in the bedroom, there might be nobody near any of the open doors, so maybe they just felt safe enough in that neighborhood.
So when we
To-
first
to-
moved into our house, we used to leave our front door open in the summertime because it would, like, keep the air circulating. And it was just our screen door that was open. And, like, it's a pretty safe neighborhood until someone broke into our shed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. I guess I just watch a little too much horror movies or like those mystery shows, because every time I leave like my slider door open and just have the screen, I'm like doing the dishes and I just like picture someone just coming through the slider and be like, okay, I'm in your house now, I'm gonna murder all of you. And I'm like, nope, I can't do this. So in our old house, right, we had a 2-story home, and we left like the windows open, like just with the screen, but we were on the 2nd floor, and sometimes I still get like heebie-jeebies of doing that. But now we're in a new house and it's on the ground floor. Oh my god, I miss listening to the crickets at night, but I can't do it. Nope, I can't. Even though I'm just like, we're in the country and there's literally nobody around us, and I'm like, nope, this is how the horror movies start, and we're gonna get murdered. And yeah, I would like some sleep.
That is true.
But
That
okay,
is true.
hold on, off subject. Have you noticed all the murder movies are in this era, in this decade, where everybody has too much trust in their neighbors? They're like, we'll just keep the doors open and unlocked, and then that's how the murderers comes in, and they're like, oh, thank you for keeping your door unlocked for me.
And that's why people don't do that anymore.
Yeah, sorry, just a thought. You may proceed.
All right. When the girls failed to show up at the water park, Janelle suggested that they go back to the house and check if they had returned yet. Upon arriving at the house, they only found Janice McCall, Stacy's mother, who was searching for her daughter. However, the house was otherwise empty. They searched the entire house and discovered that the purses of all 3 women were lined up on the floor of Streeter's bedroom. Levitt's dog, Cinnamon, was also present in the house and seemed to be anxious. There was no signs of forced entry or any items stolen. Furthermore, oh, what?
Nothing.
Oh.
Like, I'm just, this is just getting worse and worse.
Right. It's like a lot of tampering. Furthermore, there was a message on the answering machine from the same male voice as before, making more inappropriate remarks. Unfortunately, Janelle accidentally deleted the message.
What?
Right. So not only is she answering their phone, but she's now listening to their voice messages
And deleting.
and deleting.
She would make
my
a
God.
very bad, like, secretary. Really bad.
Right.
Like, I would not want her in my office.
I just can't get over how familiar she is with the being in the people's home and behaving that way.
But like, I mean,
It's so inappropriate.
right, like, I mean, I had friends' houses that I would go to that were like home, but I still wouldn't have played their answering machine. And
Yeah,
like, never in a million years would I have thought to like go to my friend's house and play her
Answer the
answering machine.
phone.
You're right. But I mean, maybe answer the phone. Like, okay, maybe answer
I
the phone.
wouldn't.
It's 92. Like, people don't have cell phones yet. I can see
No, I
maybe
still
answering the
wouldn't.
phone, but not
Okay,
listening to the answering machine. Like, that's
it's more private.
right. Like, I mean, at least if you answer the phone and they're like, "Is so and so there?" You can say no and ask if you could take a message. But on the answering machine, like, they're leaving a message and you're gonna hear it. It might not be any of your business.
Right. Oh my god.
I can see going into the fridge as being more acceptable than even answering the phone
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. If I don't go into your fridge, we're not friends.
Exactly. And then the fact that there is an answering machine attached to that phone, the phone could ring out and let the homeowners get to the message whenever they get to the message. But then for her to find a message on the phone, that
Right? And let me listen to this, and then oops, I deleted it. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
it's just
I
weird to
definitely
me.
think that
Go
playing
back.
the message on the answering machine is weird.
But also,
Yeah.
wouldn't they? I don't. Okay. I don't know. But wouldn't you, if you see broken glass, go into a house and saw that the front door was unlocked, right? And then you went into the house and this really creep ass guy calls that house. And then you're like, oh, yeah, you know what? 2 + 2 = 4. This is not adding up at all. Wouldn't you look around the house the first time and be like, oh, hey, by the way, the person, oh, and the dog. What the fuck happened to the dog? Okay, just saying.
Right, like, I'm really surprised they didn't hear the dog when they went in the first time.
Yeah, but
Like, I would have, like, I mean, I've had dogs. They go crazy when someone comes in.
yeah, but wouldn't you check the bedroom and be like, oh, hey, I'm home, I'm here. Are you guys here? I wouldn't go to the bathroom, but I would check the bedrooms, like, knock, knock. Is somebody home?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have just, like, walked in and
Be like,
answered their phone and left.
right? Like, oh, they're not here. No, I would have been like, Z, you in there? Bitch, where are you? I would have
I
like,
can actually see this in my mind's eye. I'm
right?
picturing you just walking through my house. Z, where?
Yeah. Then you don't answer, and I'll be freaking out.
But I don't have to worry about either of you answering my cell phone if it rings.
No, unless
No.
your house is empty and your phone is laying there and it's ringing, and I'm like, it's a ransom! Oh my gosh, you got kidnapped! That would probably the only reason why I would go into your phone, or to call your mom, be like, your daughter's missing. The only reason.
Okay.
Dramatic.
So they finally decided to call the police, and while waiting for them to arrive, Janelle again makes the questionable decision to clean the house, unintentionally contaminating what could potentially be a crime scene.
My
So
eyes
Janelle
twitching.
is just making major boo-boos all over the place.
My eyes twitching.
Maybe it was just nervous energy. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Right, like, I mean, I don't think Janelle had anything to do with it, but she just made some super questionable decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was she a blonde? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Let the
Okay.
hate mail begin.
I'm just kidding.
Barry's canceled.
Hey, I am the one that is the blonde, and I'm not even blonde. I ran into the wall the other day, okay? With a cup. And it was hot. Yeah. Oh, and then afterwards, I went to go change my shirt, right? Walked right into my bedroom and with the coffee cup, and I was like, what the fuck was I doing in here again? Oh, hey, coffee. Sip, walk back into the kitchen without doing anything. Yeah, it was a day. Anyways.
Okay.
Hey there, Black Cat Crossing fans. We just wanted to take a moment to express our heartfelt gratitude. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our community. Your support means the world to us. If you're loving this episode, don't forget to check out our other Black Cat Crossing outlets for even more thrilling content. Your continued support keeps us growing strong. Thanks again for listening, and now back to our exciting show.
So, the Springfield Police Department, SPD, officially declared all 3 women as missing persons, and within a few days, the FBI arrived to commence an investigation. During the initial 2 weeks, law enforcement and local residents organized multiple community-wide searches, including divers searching for bodies in Lake Springfield and the James River. Over 20,000 missing person posters were put up all around Springfield, some of which can still be found in storefronts to this day.
Oh, that's crazy.
Wow. So one of the initial suspects mentioned was Streeter's ex-boyfriend, Dustin. He had recently been arrested for being part of a group involved in grave robberies, which supposedly led to Streeter ending their relationship. Streeter had apparently provided a statement to the police that implicated him in the crime and was going to testify against him in a few months. However, there was no concrete evidence linking any of the young men in this group to the disappearance of Streeter, McCall, and Levitt. And additionally, none of them had a solid alibi for that night. None of them had a solid alibi. So, none of them could say definitively where they were or couldn't be corroborated for where they were.
Oh, I know what it means.
Oh,
I just want to
you said. Oh, I thought you were meaning what's that?
No. No. I mean,
My bad. Miscommunication.
It's okay. Okay, so what I'm saying is they're saying there's no concrete evidence linking the guys to the group, but then at the same time the guys they can either be doing what they were doing before, which was robbing the grave, or some other kind of weird crime. I can't get I think I would have pursued this angle just a little bit more.
Right.
If I just because they don't have that solid alibi.
All right, but so even though none of them had a solid alibi for that night, every individual successfully completed a polygraph examination.
Ah, okay. I take back what I said.
Well, but isn't it a little easy to pass those if you know what you're doing?
I mean, sure, if you know what you're doing. I'm imagining your average grave robber that's a teenager probably doesn't know what they're doing, though.
Probably pissing their pants.
But I mean, polygraph isn't it's in court, they don't even bring them in because it's the word I was going to use was on the tip of my tongue and then I lost it.
Yeah.
But that's not something that they use in court anyway because polygraph is questionable.
Yeah, because it doesn't test the speed of your heart rate and something else.
I think it monitors a lot of stuff like your heart rate, I don't know. Just lots of stuff. Lots of polygraph stuff.
Lots of
Yes.
polygraph stuff. Okay.
All right. So Bart Streeter became a person of interest due to his previous struggles with alcoholism and aggression, as well as his strained relationships with both his mother and his sister. Bart claimed that on the day in question, he had been drinking and eventually passed out at home. Since he was alone, there was no one to verify his alibi. Nevertheless, there's no concrete evidence linking him to the disappearances, and he also successfully passed a polygraph test. In February 2019, he was arrested on unrelated charges of public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and attempted false imprisonment in Tennessee. This led the police to reinvestigate him in connection with the disappearance of his mother and sister and their friend. Eventually, he was eliminated as a suspect. A resident in the neighborhood reported seeing a green van just 2 days after the 3 women went missing in Springfield. According to the witness, a blonde woman was driving the van, and they overheard a forceful male voice telling her, "Do nothing foolish." The witness identified Suzie Streeter's picture to the authorities, suggesting that she was the woman behind the wheel. In 2002, the authorities pursued leads regarding a suspicious green van associated with a group of men employed at a concrete company in Webster County. Cadaver dogs were brought in and bones were discovered at the site. However, subsequent examinations confirmed that the skeletal remains were too old to be linked to the case. Robert Craig Cox, a convicted murderer who resided across the street from Levitt and Streeter during the time of their disappearance, underwent multiple interviews with the Springfield police over the years as a suspect. In 1996, investigative reporter Dennis Graves conducted an interview with Cox in a Texas prison, during which he inquired about the Springfield Three. The following exchange took place. Cox: "I know that they're dead. I'll say that. I know that." Graves: "That's not a theory?" Cox: "I just know that they're dead. That's not my theory. I just know that. There's no doubt about that." Cox did not provide any more information, though he was later quoted as saying he would elaborate on what he knows once his mother had passed away. Later that year, the interview was subpoenaed by authorities and submitted as evidence to a grand jury. However, no charges were ever handed down.
Okay, that's suspicious.
Right, you have a convicted murderer living across the street. The glass is broken. The doors are unlocked. That's suspicious.
Right?
So in 2007, a tip provoked a local writer to hire an engineer and use ground-penetrating radar to scan a parking garage at the Cox South Hospital. The engineer said he picked up on 3 distinct shapes that were consistent with human remains. However, the parking garage in question was built a year after the disappearance, and police felt it was unlikely that the bodies wouldn't have turned up during its excavation. Lisa Cox. Yeah. I think it's wild that they didn't do just a little bit more investigation on that before just deciding that it's probably not it.
Right.
So Lisa Cox is a spokeswoman for the SPD, and she stated that digging up the area and subsequently reconstructing the structure would be extremely costly. And without any reasonable belief that the bodies could be located there, it is illogical to do so. And for those reasons, SPD does not intend to. Investigators have determined this lead to not be credible.
The one possibly solid lead.
Right, the one possible solid lead, and we're not going to do anything about it because we don't want to spend the money.
Yeah.
Politics, man.
Kind of question all the cold cases out there.
As of yet, there have been no further developments in the case. There is no hard evidence for law enforcement to work with. It's as if these 3 women just vanished into thin air. Former SPD detective and current Bolivar Police Chief Mark Webb said the case changed the way the local authorities look at a crime. They started looking for computer programs. What are we going to do if we get another case of this magnitude? Still haunted by the old case, he questions himself and the department. Is there something more we could have done?
Yes.
Is there another question we could have asked?
Yes.
Was that person lying to us?
Yes.
Could we have dug deeper there?
Yes.
Just those questions.
Especially
How
that.
could we have done better?
Definitely
could have dug deeper.
Yeah, you guys could have done a lot better with this one. Oh my God.
In 2021, journalist Anne Rodriguez Jones, who grew up in Springfield, launched a podcast about the disappearance called The Springfield Three, A Small Town Disappearance, which provides a more in-depth look into the case with someone who has personal knowledge of those involved. Sherrill Levitt, Suzie Streeter, and Stacy McCall have been missing for 31 years. So there's a lot here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Janelle and Mike cleaning up the house, deleting the answering machine. I think it's weird to listen to your friend's answering machine before the police show up anyway, which we kind of discussed.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then tidying up the house too.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just feel like the tidying up, she wasn't thinking, and it was just like nervous energy, especially not knowing what's happening, and then she cleaned it up.
Right,
But
I agree. I think it seems like really poor decision making at best and really sketchy behavior at worst.
yes, but something makes me like what I believe is considering that the cars were all still there, the outside lamp must have been broken for other persons not to see what was happening.
Right.
So I just feel like with the cars being parked out front, the lamp being the outside light being broken, like the porch light being broken, and the door being unlocked, the purses being lined up in the room, it may have been not necessarily like a brick and what is it called? Brick and entry?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
A
but it may be
B&E.
somebody, yeah, it may be somebody they actually knew they opened the door for, but the person had foresight enough for them to turn off to pop the light first, right? And then the girls, well, not so willingly maybe, were forced to get into another vehicle, not necessarily the green one,
Right.
but they were forced to get in, and they were driven. Oh my gosh, driven. Or they drove away. Whatever it is. Why
Yeah,
can't I
I agree.
English
I think
straight?
that is also what happened.
Yes, so that's what I believe.
Now, who
knows
did
what
it? Yeah.
happened?
I think that the murderer across the street is probably a pretty good place to start.
Yeah. Yes. And you've heard of like some really weird and creepy like people doing this, bringing them to a different location and keeping them there who for who knows how long, murder, torture, or rather torture then murder, or all of these things are possible. I just feel like it's so sad like when things like that happen and there's absolutely no evidence at all that can link one person. Or maybe there was,
I was just gonna say there probably was.
but it got cleaned up, Janelle. That's what I think.
I agree. I agree that that is probably the most likely scenario. The parking garage also seems odd to me. Even if they felt it unlikely that the images were consistent with human remains was not going to be the three women, the images were consistent with human remains, and it seems like something that the police might want to investigate. Even if it was as simple as getting another forensic team to do imaging and going from there, there was obviously something there that might be three bodies. That could be families that could gain some closure from knowing where their loved ones are.
That's true. That is true. And just putting them to rest finally, properly. And who knows, it may not have even been these three women, just whoever it was.
Right. Like, I mean, I don't know. It blows my mind that there wouldn't have been more looking into that.
Yes, I agree.
At least call in a couple more forensics teams and see if they also believe that it is consistent with human remains.
Yes.
So the case of the Springfield Three is still unsolved, and the case is still considered open. If you have any information relating to the case, call your local FBI office or American embassy or consulate. You can also go to the FBI website and submit an anonymous tip online. All right. So, missing from the last podcast was the movie review, and we know everyone loved the movie reviews. And they're back, but with a bit of a twist this season. We're calling it We Watched It So You Don't Have To. This means there will be spoilers. Lots of spoilers. So without further ado, we watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, so you don't have to. Once again, there will be spoilers. We're going to tell you the whole movie. So if you don't want to hear about it before you watch it, turn off the podcast now. Okay. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey stars Nikolai Leon, Maria Taylor, Natasha Rose Mills. Peacock's description says, now feral and bloodthirsty, Winnie the Pooh and Piglet terrorize Christopher Robin and a group of young women at a remote house. So my first thoughts were, this is going to be an awful horrorcore, softcore porn.
Yeah.
Calling it now. This is why we don't have nice things, and Disney has to be assholes about who can and can't use their trademarked property. Girl boss Etsy store owners with a cricket? This is why Disney sends you cease and desist orders when you get busted using their property on your cute little shop. Because the second something is no longer covered under their trademark, humanity bastardizes it and turns it into something horrible. But God, do I hope it's something that is amazingly horrible. I'm hoping for some Tarantino-style senseless killing and gore a la Kill Bill Volume 1. I have many doubts that it will be anything amazing like that, though. I'm expecting a lot of boobs and blood, and probably senseless violence, but not in the Tarantino awesomeness that I want to see.
Yeah, me too.
The story starts with the typical telling of Winnie the Pooh, how Christopher Robin meets Pooh, Piglet, Owl, Eeyore, and Rabbit, and quickly befriends them, regardless of them being crossbreeds and aberrations. They have picnics, and Christopher Robin brings them food to take care of them. Then he leaves for college to become a doctor. He's gone for 5 years. During this time, they have a hard winter and decide to eat Eeyore to survive.
Why do they always have to eat the sad one, okay?
It's because he's the
already
punching
sad.
bag.
And this is why he's sad all the time.
Just remember that. If we're ever stranded somewhere, whichever one of you gets sad first, we're eating you.
Fuck. I'm screwed. I'm very emotional, okay? Not my fault.
So this fucks with them, and they make a pact to recede all traces of humanity. They give up speaking. That's it. They still live in houses, wear clothes, drive cars. They just don't speak. 5 years after leaving, Christopher Robin brings his wife, Mary, to meet his friends. She is skeptical of his retelling. She goes from skeptical to panicked in moments when they find the house. They hide in the house from Pooh Bear. When they try to escape, they're found by Piglet, who strangles Mary from behind right in front of Christopher Robin. He begs for her life, but Piglet strangles her to death. The costumes are wonderfully bad. You can see the mask line in a lot of the beginning scenes. This does get a bit better as the film goes on. Christopher Robin gets caught, and the story goes back into the fairy tale mode. It implies that they burn Christopher Robin to death. This is the intro, and the movie could have ended there with the 100-acre wood creatures getting their revenge on Christopher Robin for abandoning them. However, this is not the end. It keeps going. We see newspaper clippings of strange disappearances happening in the 100-acre wood. We next meet Mariah, who is in therapy coping with a traumatic stalking incident. The psychiatrist basically tells her to go rent a cabin in the woods and reconnect with herself and let her fears go. Mariah rents a house in the woods with her friends Tina, Jess, Laura, Alice, and Zoe. Tina is late. This is apparently a reoccurring issue with her. Mariah, Jess, Laura, Alice, and Zoe stop at a freaky rundown gas station where we meet a creepy attendant. As Mariah is leaving, she bumps into some random lady and gives herself a jump scare. The girls then make it to the house they've rented. Tina gets lost and tries calling Mariah for directions. However, the girls have decided that they're going to unplug on this trip and have turned off their phones and put them on a table. We see Tina running through the woods from Pooh Bear. Tina's character looks a bit like Lilo. I legitimately thought it was her at first. He rips off her shirt and we get boobies before he slams her head into the workbench about 20 times and feeds her through a wood chipper.
Okay, can I just say, I didn't get that scene.
Yeah, it was an unnecessary. It was unnecessary violence. It was amazing.
No, I meant like the ripping part. I did not.
Oh, it's because we had to have boobies. There had to be boobies.
I will say I thought I was gonna go a whole different way, and then when he slammed her head, I was like, oh, we're doing that now.
Oh, it's that kind of movie.
I was like, that's not where my mind went. Alright, sorry.
Don't be late, my friends. Sully and I have a problem with this.
Yes. Yes, you do.
We cut back to the girls and they go to unpack, and we get a weird scene of Laura playing dress up and pretending she's working on her OnlyFans photos. She has no devices, so she's just practicing. Practice makes perfect.
I say so.
We get more of Mariah's story. She tells her friends about how she felt like someone was watching her. Then one day she catches someone peeping. She calls the police, but they can't do anything about it because they don't know who he was. A month goes by and she starts feeling like someone's watching her in public. Then one night while she's sleeping, he breaks into her house and tries to undress her in her sleep. She calls the police and they find tons of photos of her on his computer. The guy is the creepy guy from the service station. She didn't recognize him, apparently. So I'm not sure if that was like on purpose or if that was just like not a lot of cast.
Wait. Was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was.
It was definitely the same actor. Whether it was supposed to be the same person, I don't know.
I didn't even notice.
I don't know. I'm leaning towards because it's a bad type of B movie type thing. They made it ultra bad and make it like, maybe just wanting to see who would actually catch that the peeping Tom was also the guy at the gas station. I don't think that they're linked in any way.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, I'm pretty sure it's got to be like a casting thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even notice.
Christopher Robin is still alive. We see him hanging by a hook in the workshop. He is being tortured by Pooh Bear. He is begging Pooh Bear to remember that they were best of friends and to remember the good that is still inside of him. Pooh Bear has a flashback where he remembers good times with Christopher Robin. He cries? Honey? Thick tears? I don't know. Then he freaks the fuck out and starts flipping tables. He goes over and grabs a hair whip, possibly Eeyore's tail. It's so much more fucked up and funny if it's Eeyore's tail.
That is so bad. Oh my god, I didn't even connect those dots until you said it. Oh god.
And he proceeds to whip Christopher Robin with it. Then he gives him a blood shower. Just two old pals catching up, as one does. Pooh is out to dispose of the dead body of one of the girls when he hears the music coming from the rental property. He goes to investigate, and there he finds OnlyFans Laura in the hot tub taking photos of herself. She's swiped her phone back from the table in the hallway. Laura sees Pooh Bear stalking her from around the corner of the house in one of her photos. She attempts to call out to whoever is there, and when she doesn't get a response, she decides that she's not going to let a weirdo dressed up like Winnie the Pooh scare her, and she gets back into the hot tub.
Which I didn't get why you would do that. Like, even why? I would be like freaking out and be like, I would not go back in the hot tub.
Yeah, I don't think I'd just shrug that off. I think that was super weird.
Yeah.
That was super weird.
Pooh Bear and Piglets.
This is the part in. Hold on, sorry. This is the part in the movie where the female runs up the stairs from the killer.
Yes. Runs up the stairs instead of out the door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Pooh Bear and Piglet sneak up on her from behind and knock her out with some poison on a rag. So, once again, we're at this point, and I cannot remember what it's called.
Wait.
It's like they put it on the rag and they put it over their mouth and their nose.
Chloroform?
Chloroform, yes.
And I will just say this as a disclaimer. I have never had chloroform. I just...
You knew that pretty quickly.
Shh.
I know, right?
I've never bought chloroform. I've never used it.
Do you buy chloroform or do you make chloroform?
See, I don't know that.
And then she's texting me, you can do both. Okay, I see you, Barry. I see you.
Doing nothing of the sort.
She's not doing it, but I think you can do both.
She's got a secret stash of chloroform.
Alright.
Don't tell everybody my secrets. How do you think I got my husband?
Last episode, she's digging through ashes. This episode, she's chloroforming people. Secret Life of Barry.
I was like, every new episode we learn something new.
Podcasting is right for my lifestyle. I will get caught one of these days.
You can't hide forever, Barry.
Oh my god.
So she wakes up hogtied on the lane. Piglet has a mallet and Pooh Bear is in the car. They fuck with her a bit, and then Pooh Bear runs her head over. Her eyeball pops out. It's very cinematic.
Is it bad that that was like my favorite part of the movie?
It was done really well. It just like
it was. will say it came out perfect. I am a very sick woman.
It was very artsy.
It was. It was.
So Mariah and Jess are out on the dock and they hear a scream. They go to investigate and find Laura dead. They run into the house and find Alice and Zoe in the foyer, where the words "get out" are spelled across the window in blood, which we can only assume is Laura's blood. They have a freak out and decide that the best thing to do is to stick together and find a weapon to protect themselves with. Mariah suddenly remembers she has a gun. In England, she's just got a gun that she's forgotten about, but has packed with her for her girls' trip. In England. Her and Jess run to go get the gun while Alice and Zoe go through the pool room. To close the door that apparently Mariah and Jess didn't think to shut when they came in. Pooh has a few really good window creeping moments in these scenes, and Mariah and Jess retrieve the gun, and as they're coming back downstairs, they see Pooh Bear in the house. Mariah has a perfect shot on Pooh, and instead of taking it, she hides.
Did not get why she did that.
Like, why wouldn't you take that shot?
You have a gun for a reason. Use it.
I mean, I guess that's England. Maybe she didn't know how to use it. They could have ended the movie right there. Pooh gets sniped. They could have taken out Piglet with the gun. Boom. Over. Piglet finds Zoe and Alice in the pool room. He knocks out Alice, and Zoe runs into the pool to escape, because that makes so much sense. Instead of running around the pool, let's run through liquid, which makes you move slower. First, Piglet basically tries fishing Zoe out of the pool with a chain. Like she's gonna grab onto it and, I don't know, nibble. When that doesn't work, he goes in after her with a sledgehammer. Alice wakes up just in time to see Piglet pretending he's hitting a grand slam and Zoe's head is the ball. She screams and passes out. Piglet picks her up, and Mariah and Jess find Zoe's dead body in the pool and follow Piglet and Pooh as they take Alice back to their house. They follow them, hoping to help their friend. We get a weird scene with Pooh Bear eating. It's kind of creepy, and my dude has the Michael Myers head turned down 100%. We then that was like so good. Just like turns and looks at the camera. Very good. We then see Pooh Bear smacking Alice around while she's tied to the floor. He doesn't kill her though. Mariah and Jess find her a little bit later and release her. As they're making their escape, they hear a woman scream. They decide that they must find who screamed and go help them. On their way, they stumble across Christopher Robin. Just as you're starting to wonder what the fuck happened to him, he appears. They cut him loose. He was very like splotchy in this film. Yeah. They cut him loose and they hear the woman again. He tells them to go help her, and our guy dips for a bit again. They find the woman chained up in what looks like some kind of ritual sacrifice. Instead of immediately helping to set her free, they spend a few minutes asking questions that could have been answered as they made their escape. Finally, they set her free after learning that Piglet has fucked her up. As they're leaving, she sees her reflection and freaks the fuck out. She somehow has the gun that Mariah had, and she decides that she's not leaving until she has killed Piglet. She calls him out, eventually firing a shot from the gun. Piglet appears and they have an epic staring contest across the fire. She pulls the trigger and nothing happens. As she's backing away, she bumps into Pooh Bear and he smacks her down, then pours some weird blood and honey mixture over her. The girls scream and somehow Alice gets left behind. Pooh hears the screams and he starts chasing them through the woods. Alice, however, gets the jump on Piglet and she knocks him out. She proceeds to tie him up in the weird culty sacrifice area and gets a little retribution for her dead friends and the woman. Unfortunately, Pooh hears the sounds of Piglet's distress and comes running. Piglet is dead, but Pooh gets Alice with a machete through her mouth and pins her to the wooden post. That was epic.
Yeah, that was.
It was.
There is some parts of this movie that just was amazing.
Yeah, no, they actually some parts of the movie I was actually surprised on their special effects.
Yeah, filmed really well. The girls have arrived back at the house and they see Alice dead. Pooh hears them scream and he begins to chase them through the forest again. Some creepy-looking guys in a truck stop when they see the girls running. They don't believe them that there's a bear man chasing them, and they try to calm the girls down. They see Pooh for themselves, and they try to stand up to him. They eventually surround him and start beating him with blunt objects. This does nothing to Pooh. He eventually hulks out and kills each of them. The girls finally get the truck going, and they run Pooh Bear over. However, he's not dead. He's crawled into the bed of the truck, and he's attempting to crawl over the cab of the truck and break the front windshield. They slam on the brakes and end up hurting themselves more than him. Mariah wakes up as Pooh Bear is pulling Jess out of the cab. Pooh Bear decapitates Jess and throws her head onto the windshield. Mariah apparently thinks turning the wipers on will make this better, and we get a smeary, bloody windshield scene. Once again, we're left wondering what the fuck has happened to Christopher Robin. And he shows up, driving an SUV. He plows into Pooh Bear, who has just pulled Mariah out of the cab, pitting Pooh between the truck and the SUV. Christopher Robin runs out to help Mariah, and as he's checking on her, we see fuel leaking out of the SUV, and Pooh Bear wiggling between the vehicles trying to free himself. Christopher Robin and Mariah try to run away as Pooh manages to push the truck away from him like it weighs nothing, and begins to chase after them. The SUV explodes. This causes Christopher Robin and Mariah to fall over, and Pooh catches up to them. He grabs Mariah away from Christopher Robin, who offers himself in her place, begging Pooh to let her go and take him, that he will spend forever with Pooh, just like they talked about when he was a boy. Pooh listens for half a second and then slits Mariah's throat. We get a dramatic death scene with Christopher Robin cradling Mariah as she's dying and Pooh Bear quietly watching them. Finally, Christopher Robin drops Mariah's body and Pooh Bear goes to town stabbing and chopping at it as Christopher Robin starts to run away and the movie ends. I think the cinematography of the film is really good in this. Like, some of the shots were just so artsy.
It was.
The acting wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be either.
Yeah, I really thought it was going to be so much horror. So this video was actually pretty good. This was not, like, I could actually watch this again if I had to.
Oh, so we're going to watch the second one when it comes out?
There has to be a second one because how they left it was ridiculous.
Oh, there's another one. It's coming out.
Oh, is there?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Is it the Pinocchio one, Z? I think I saw something about Pinocchio.
Or maybe it was
just like a possibility of Pinocchio.
Yeah, I know they're doing another Blood and Honey.
Ah. Yeah, because they literally.
Well, right, because Christopher Robin runs away. So does he live?
Does he come back?
He won't show up until the middle of the second movie because this guy just dips for long periods
of time. Like, this is about...
He was suffering in silence.
The suffer in silence type.
Oh, yeah. God. Well, it's funny because it's supposed to be about Christopher Robin and, like...
I mean, it's not Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin. It's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So, I mean, they could have just left Christopher Robin out altogether.
Yes.
It would have been weird.
That's true.
Yes, it would have been a little weird. But the whole point of this was to get revenge of Christopher Robin.
Right.
And when Winnie the Pooh, like, literally had him right there. And he was too busy cutting up the girl that he'd known for 5 minutes.
I mean, he wanted him to suffer.
Apparently. Apparently.
Yeah, I feel like, and him knowing that this is what would make Christopher Robin suffer the most, knowing that there was nothing that he could do. You don't wonder how long Winnie and Piglet had Christopher Robin there before the girl stumbled. Like, how many years? Did it say how many years after? Or months?
Yeah,
or whatever.
It didn't give a time frame. I'm kind of assuming it was like in a short span of time.
Like maybe weeks or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it was much more than that.
And what was Christopher eating all this time?
Honey?
Blood.
Blood showers.
Blood and honey.
Blood showers and honey breakfast.
But yeah, I don't know. And it was weird how, like, he cried, like, Winnie. how Pooh
Winnie the
Pooh. Oh my god. But, like, how he, like, when he cries honey.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was more weird or disgusting.
I also want to know what happened to the other animals. Like what happened to
owl
Owl and Rabbit. And Tigger.
Yes.
Tigger was never even mentioned, which pissed me off.
They ate them.
Yes.
They ate them because that's what I believe. Because Eeyore probably was the first to go,
Oh, definitely.
and then maybe Owl saw this happening and he flew away, which is smart. And I don't know, but I feel like they ate all of them, and it was just because Winnie and Pooh are like they're very very close. Did I say Winnie and Pooh?
You did.
I meant
I was gonna say Winnie and Pooh are very close because they're the same person.
I meant Piglet, and Piglet wasn't a piglet anymore, was he?
No, he was like a full-blown hog.
Yes.
It wasn't the cute little piglet anymore. Oh,
Yes.
God.
So I actually didn't hate this movie, obviously. It was weird and wonderfully horrible like I expected it to be.
Yes. And actually, to tell you the truth, there was a lot less boobage than I thought it was going to be.
Me too. It was just that one time. I don't even think we saw OnlyFans Laura's boobs.
Didn't we?
I don't think so.
I thought we did. She probably not.
I feel like I would have wrote that in my notes.
I could just say she had nice boobs.
Boobies.
Yeah, no, like literally there was like probably like one or two scenes with anything that
I was very surprised that it was a lot less softcore porn than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, which is funny because like I think even in Michael Myers movies there was a lot of like so-called sex scenes. So
70s, 80s horror porn.
Right? So, but
that's what I expected out of this movie. It was not that. It was just like the one time.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts?
I actually had something in my brain and I totally
And then you lost it.
I totally lost.
Ran through your brain like honey.
Pretty much. Oh God.
Dolly, any final thoughts?
No. I think we covered everything that I would have said, but it was a good movie. I think that would be my final thought. It was a terribly good movie, and I would watch it again.
Yes. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say.
You're welcome.
Never look at Winnie the Pooh and Piglet the same ever again after this.
I'm glad Tigger was my favorite character.
They ate my favorite character.
Don't get sad first. I don't know what to tell you.
But that is my character. Yeah, no, every time I see like Pooh and Piglet or like any of the characters, it just pops in my brain and I just see the very, very bad Pooh in my brain. And I'm like, gosh dang it. Why?
If I ever learn how to properly crochet stuffed animals, I'm making each of us a Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to make the honey pot, but like inside be red.
Blood and honey.
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
All right. We watched Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, so you don't have to. But we think you should.
Thanks for joining us this month on Black Cat Crossing. We've enjoyed having you here with us while we talked about the missing persons case of the Springfield Three and our synopsis of Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Be sure to visit our website, www.blackcatcrossing.co. Drop us an email at blackcatcrossingzabs@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at Black Cat Crossing Podcast, on Twitter at blackcatcrossy2, or head over and follow the Facebook page Black Cat Crossing Podcast. We'll see you again in the unknown.